Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I've got your very first gameplay and overview of the T-80UD BE. This is a currently rank 7 battle rating 10.7 medium/main battle tank in the Chinese ground forces tech tree. Yes, Chinese, though of course flies under the flag of Pakistan. Now this is the top level reward for ground for the Winter Tales event in War Thunder, and you might be wondering to yourself, what's the big difference between this and the T-80UD, which is only 10.3 VR. And I'll switch right back over, and if you didn't notice it yet, it is the rubber fabric screens. Now I'm just joking. I mean, those are there, whereas the standard T-80UD are not there, but this, the BE, has access to Gen 3 thermals, whereas the standard T-80UD only has night vision and doesn't even have Gen 1 thermals. So a pretty big advantage there. Otherwise, this thing is pretty much the same as the standard T-80UD. It has the same weight, same amount of horsepower, same max speed, same turret traverse, vertical guidance, reload rate, everything under the sun, even the same armament, including the same ammunition. Everything is pretty much the same. Except, again, for the fact that the BE has that really nice Gen 3 thermal. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into a few matches, see how we do. I already know that I love the T-80UD. That thing is fantastic. So hopefully adding Gen 3 thermals and just a slight BR increase should make it even better. That said, let's get into it. Now, outside of the fact that it totally lacks thermals, the standard T-80UD, probably the biggest reason why it is the BR that it is its mobility. But in my opinion, I think its mobility is perfectly fine. Unless, of course, you no longer have a transmission. But we have ourselves an assist against the T-80UE1, which is supposed to essentially replace the standard T-80UD. But again, this is the T-80 in the Chinese ground tech tree, so there is no T-80UD in that tech tree. Now, that being said, in my gameplay, typically like first gameplay when it comes to event vehicles and premium vehicles, things like that, I always want to make it, as honest as possible. I don't want to go out here and be like, oh, you can get 30 bajillion kills with this. Look at me get, like, if I get that, I'll post it. If I don't, I don't. That's fine either way. I want you guys to know about how good this thing is, about how good at least I perceive it to be, because that is a very, very important thing. Especially for a vehicle that either you're considering grinding for, you're considering purchasing via Golden Eagles, potentially you're considering buying on the marketplace. It wouldn't be right for me to be like, oh, this is so great, look at me, I'm doing amazingly, and, meanwhile I've got thousands upon thousands upon thousands more matches than your average player. So, I think that was that same T-80UE1 that we had before. We're going to keep on moving up. But not bad. I mean, the mobility on this thing is, again, it's equivalent to the T-80UD, despite the fact that it has Gen 3 thermals as opposed to, of course, well, no thermals. It does have equivalent mobility. So, I mean, I feel like it actually has plenty good mobility. It's got over a 20 to 1 horsepower per ton power to weight ratio. The turret traverse is a touch lacking at this BR. Not really fantastic, but with the 3BM42, this definitely has some pretty good armament. Ooh, my goodness. Holy guacamole! What was that? These are paid actors, man. What? Oh my goodness! No, they're not actually paid actors, but you get the joke, right? Like that. Wasn't that like a Fly Daily joke? Something like that. Speaking of, I hope Fly is doing okay. With that said, we're going to keep moving up. I think we might have this one in the bag. So we're going to go ahead and do another match real soon. Okay, oh yeah, here we are with the lack of mobility. When it comes to reverse speed. That's the worst thing when it comes to Russian tanks. T-80 especially, it's like, I think 4.2 kilometer per hour top speed. And now ever since, reverse speed. And now ever since they introduced, like, the autoloader modules and all that, it creates so many issues where you can no longer even reload your vehicle in general. Which is just crazy to me. But thus far, not too bad. 3 kills, 2 assists. Not bad. This is literally my very first match with this. But again, bear in mind, I do also have some T-80UD experience and just general Russian tank experience at and around this BR anyways. So, you know, take it as you will. But I consider a match like this to be pretty good, especially for my first match. Also, I am fully spaded. That's what we get, content creators. We do get fully spaded vehicles when they are given as rentals. Hello, sir. Would you like to buy a nice APF SDS rod right through the back of your tank? Man, what is it? I think the only tanks I've killed have been premium Russian tanks. T-80UD have been 3 of them. And is that... Oh, there we go. TAM2C. It's my 5th kill. We have a... What is that over there? Oh, baby, baby. I think we have another tank over here to my left. Potentially. I'm not a big fan, if you guys don't know, of spawn camping, in effect, so I try not to do that when I can. If I'm just being, like... Okay, I'm about to die here. Nope, never mind. We have ourselves our 6th kill, 3rd assist. Not bad. I mean, like I said, I knew what to expect with this vehicle, and like I said, I already really, really like the T-80UD. So by adding Gen 3 thermals, to me thus far, this thing has been a win. You know, you're only adding, like, what, 0.4 BR, which is not all too much. And I always felt like the T-80UD, the Russian premium, was always one of those up-tierable vehicles, so long as you don't mind lacking thermals. But now that you have thermals, so long as you don't get into too crazy of an up tier, I feel like this is a very good vehicle, especially for the Chinese ground tech tree. That said, let's get into another match. So, in general, though, I'm feeling actually pretty good about this thing. You know, it's tough to quantify what a single addition, like what a single improvement, in this instance, Gen 3 thermals versus really no thermals, would do to a BR, how it makes a tank better. And I think it actually goes a long way. You know, of course, this is currently 10.7. The standard UD is 10.3, again, currently. And so, you have it. Man, I really just wanted to shoot right through it, but I knew that wouldn't be a good idea. Do we still have another tank here? No, but we have him. And so, it's one of those things where, again, it's tough to quantify exactly how much better this makes it. Like, how much higher of BR Gen 3 versus Gen none, essentially. And I feel like it actually makes the difference, you know? I mean, it's definitely, thus far, been, for the most part, worth it. I feel like it'll be more noticeable for those of whom like to snipe. And so, I haven't really encountered such a map yet. But on a map like, oh, what's that map? It's the Pradesh. On a map like Pradesh, I could see it making an absolutely gigantic difference, and being a welcome addition. Whereas on a map like this, yeah, it'll help, but it's not necessarily going to be a huge, huge thing. It's really going to stand out on forest maps, long maps, and again, I mean, being that this is already a very up-tierable vehicle, I feel like, you know, the 3BM42 is just such a good shell that even in a complete up-tier, and the fact that this thing has Contact 5 ERA is just great. You really can't go wrong with it. Here's that mobility, and dead. Versus a T-80U, not too shibby-dibby-dabby. We have ourselves some more tanks over here. I'm going to go for this guy in the back, get him first, then maybe get this guy here. We only have a 6.5 second reload, which is just fantastic. Now, that's one of those instances where you really wish the 3BM42 did more. Let's go ahead and observe exactly how we died there. Went through a pretty common channel, blew up killed the crew, and that was it. So that said, let's just get into a final match here, see what we could do, but thus far, I'm very impressed by this thing. So, just some final things here to kind of end this video on. Being that this is an event vehicle, this is extremely important to know. But being that this is an event vehicle, you do not, and I mean do not, receive premium RP and SL bonuses while playing this. So you might get the idea that you're getting a vehicle to grind through your entire tech tree with. That is not the case. This functions like a regular tech tree vehicle. And if you want more info on it, I do have a video on that you can check out. I'll see if I can link it below. If I don't, definitely remind me. But long story short, what happens is in regular War Thunder vehicles, non-premium vehicles, basically, you can, like, this is a rank 7. So it can grind rank 6, or unlock, rather, rank 6 through rank 8 vehicles without RP penalty. That's what that means. That's it. Okay, we're just evading missiles here. Just gonna go ahead and drop some artillery on his head if I can help it. But basically, like, let's say if I'm gonna try to grind out like a rank 3 vehicle with this thing, I forget the exact like penalties. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. That was not good. But I forget the exact penalties, but long story short, it's like probably a 70 or 80% penalty, maybe even substantially more. Oh my goodness. Oh. That was a Panzer Haubitz. I thought that was something like else entirely. Not that the Panzer... By the way, guys, the Panzer Haubitz, very powerful tank. It could very... What the fudge? It could very easily kill me? Okay. What is even going on, man? What is going on anymore? Oh my goodness, where are all these people coming from? But anyways, the Panzer Haubitz really good. Don't grind like through the regular tech tree. Don't expect to grind through the regular tech tree with this vehicle. But regardless, getting back to the point of this video. That aside, I do really like this tank. Okay, we just died, I think, to the guy who just shot me. So let's go ahead and respawn. I think he's going to die hopefully soon. Again, I like to show all the good and the bad, if I can help it. But when it comes to this vehicle, I feel like it's actually really good. I'm genuinely surprised by it. And, you know, it's difficult really to quantify how much a single modification will improve a vehicle. But in this instance, you're going from no thermals to Gen 3. And, I mean, it makes a world of difference. So, as I stated before, I feel like the T-80UD is actually a very, fairly up-tierable vehicle. One of the more up-tierable vehicles in War Thunder, simply because, you know, so long as you don't mind the fact that you lack... Wouldn't that be cool if I hit him? So long as you don't mind the fact that you lack thermals of any kind, you have Contact 5 ERA, and very good composite armor. And so what ends up happening is that you have a very good base vehicle. And once you add those, you know, Gen 3 thermals, it becomes way better, which is the case here. Because again, the big difference between this... Okay, is he going to come out? I hope he does. Wouldn't that be fun? Come out and play, buddy. But the big difference between this and, again, the standard, the UD, is just those thermals. And really, you just see a 0.4 BR increase because of it. At this BR, the 3BM42, still very usable. At this BR, you have the power-to-weight ratio. Still pretty good. You know, the overall mobility, I feel like the bigger weakness when it comes to its mobility is going to be its top speed, and also, of course, its reverse speed, but it's still pretty usable, at least in my opinion, at this BR. Now, if this were to get a BR increase further to, like, 11.0 BR, then I'd be a bit worried. At that point, I'd be like, you know, maybe it's not going to be able to handle it all too much. That would kind of suck. But as of right now, not bad. 10.7, I feel like, is a very, decent BR for this thing. It can take a lot of shots. It can deal some good damage. It just has a lot going for it at and around this BR. Again, where you're not necessarily going to be able to thrive quite as well as you would at a higher BR. So overall, very impressive vehicle. Let's hope I don't die here. Okay, this guy can clearly see me, but I cannot see him. So let's go ahead and just hide here. Okay, I am on the verge of death. Like, if I were to scooch over, I would drown. But in general, I feel like, yeah, it's a very worthwhile upgrade, these thermals. And it... Oh, wow, look at that. Look at that, though. I mean, like, I just survived a 2S30. Oh, no, 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 no. If he pushed me a little bit, he would have killed me. Like, no joke. Oh, my goodness, no. That just landed right on him. Did he just help repair me? I'm not even entirely sure anymore, but yeah, I mean, overall, I'm very impressed by this thing. Again, I feel like its mobility, if it were to be an 11.0 BR vehicle, I feel like that'd be a touch too much. I feel like the Gen 3 thermals make this thing much more up-tierable. I feel that the 3BM42 is a pretty up-tierable shell, though, again, beyond 11.0 BR, you're going to have to start being a bit more precise with it. So there are some definite weak spots with this thing that I feel like if you were to try to increase its BR a bit more, you'd be in trouble. I'm going to go for this, probably going to die. But where it is right now, I think it's perfectly fine. Oh, he got... Oh, no. He got me. But again, I mean, like, look at the survivability on this thing. It's surprisingly good. Not that that would have been a shot that I would have died to from, you know, if I was in another tank, because he just kind of hit me in a very damagey spot, but not like a killy spot, if that makes any level of sense. But otherwise, yeah. I mean, I really like this thing. If I were to see it on the marketplace, if you're just, again, I would recommend getting the T-80UD over this simply because it has premium RP and SL bonuses. But otherwise, I do really like this vehicle. I mean, I could see it being on the marketplace for like $25 to $30. It's not like an overwhelming powerhouse of might, if you will. You know, like, I feel like the T-80UD, so long as you get... so long as you don't mind the fact that you don't have Gen 3 thermals, the T-80UD is better than this thing. But I feel like, in general, for sniping, for so many other things, for most players, having those thermals makes up... It, like, even though this is a 0.4 BR higher, having those thermals more than makes up for it, I think, for most players. But if you don't need the thermals, the T-80UD is better than this. Just because it's a lower BR, if that makes any level of sense. So, take it as you will. I still think that this is a fantastic vehicle, and it's still an overall upgrade. And even though it is 0.4 BR higher, I still feel like it's more than worth that BR increase, if that makes any level of sense. So, just in general, very impressed by this thing. Cannot complain at all. We're going to hopefully get this final Kizity kill. And we do. However, we are right at their base. Not somewhere I like to be while getting kills. But that said, thanks so much for watching. If you don't mind, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. Let me know what you guys think about this vehicle in the comments below. I am genuinely interested because, again, this is one of those rare instances where it's not a copy-paste vehicle. Okay, my allies died. Where it's not a copy-paste vehicle, and where it is also... is this guy over here? And it's also not a vehicle with multiple different modifications. I'm sorry, my man. I'm sorry. Where are... Ah, whatever. Anyways, have a nice day, guys. Take care.